What's going on, Ataka? What's going on with you, fam? What's going on with you, Ronnie Ron? How y'all living? How this Thursday treating y'all, man? Hopefully everything is peaceful. Hopefully y'all maintaining. All right. All right, we're gonna rock like this. I'm pretty sure y'all can hear me now. We're gonna rock like this. Figure this out later on. What's going on, y'all? This how we gonna rock for the time being. All right, yeah, Ronnie Ron was crazy, man. I was just reading a book that mentioned sun gazing in it or glazing. Matter of fact, the book that I mentioned in regards to curing AIDS talked about that. And yeah, fam, I know a lot of people deal with depression, man. That's something that we tend to sweep under the rug. A lot of people are battling depression in one way, shape, or form. So that's something that's common. A lot of people are struggling with depression. That's why I kind of wanted to touch on it with today's topic, because a lot of people battle with it, man. A lot of people battle with depression, just anger. It's real common. Some people can handle it better than others. But one of the dangerous things that tends to happen when it comes to people battling depression is suppressing it. Instead of allowing that depression to run its course, instead of allowing those negative thoughts to run their course, we tend to suppress them. And that's when things become problematic. And a lot of people do that. A lot of people don't really know how to express themselves or the depression that they are witnessing or experiencing. A lot of people don't know how to communicate it or thoroughly express themselves, and that becomes the problem. And that's when they suppress it, hold it in, and that's when they self-destruct. And in regards to depression, always, I could relate a lot to like Buddhism, man, and some of the stuff that they write about, man, just some of their philosophies. and they talk a lot about suffering. And they talk a lot about, they associate a lot of suffering with just attachments and being attached to like worldly things. And when I just analyze people and I analyze the depression that people go through, and then I analyze what typically causes the depression, it always revolves around some form of attachment. So I can kind of subscribe to the Buddhist text when they talk about a lot of suffering being caused by attachment. So I can definitely see the association, because 9.9 times out of 10, when somebody is depressed, the cause of that depression is revolving around them being attached to something, an idea, a person, whatever the case may be. They are attached to something. They have this idea of how something should be or turn out for them, and it doesn't turn out to work that way. And that leads to depression. Hence why I associated detachment with killing depression. And a lot of people misunderstand detachment. What's going on with Zuko? Yeah, Montel, like I said, man, every other person you encounter, may be going through some form of depression. Like every other person you encounter may be going through some form of depression, man. Like I said, it's real common. It's real common. A lot of people suppress it more so than others. I know plenty of people who have taken themselves out because of depression, because they could not handle the test, the tribulations, the obstacles that this world will throw at you, man. Because again, this world will throw a lot of obstacles your way. You got to be ready to fight. You got to be ready to fight, man, because I mean, again, if everything would be simple and easy, then it'll be a lot of people in different positions in life if everything was simple and easy. But that's not the way that life works. A lot of challenges that come with life. Some people cannot handle those challenges. And one of the worst things that you can do, in regards to depression is compare your life to the next person. A lot of people, they do that. Like they measure their success in regards to comparing it to that of the next person. So one of your peers will be in a position where you are striving to be, and you analyzing that, and you feel like you must be a failure because they are up here and you are down here. Like, nah, you got to understand that you got to find your pace in life, and everybody travels at different speeds. And just because somebody appears to be above you doesn't mean that they actually are mentally. A lot of people can be in a certain position or achieve this certain status, but they can definitely not be happy. I know too many people like that. So we got to stop measuring our success in regards to comparing it to other people in regards to like material things or statuses and things of that nature. Those are not the only measurements in regards to success. What about your inner peace? What about your mental health? You can acquire all these material objects, these material things, but your inner peace cannot exist. Ataka Zulu, man, word, man. I'm glad you're here with us, man. I'm glad you still here with us. Like I remember back in the day, I entertained a bunch of like dark thoughts, man, negative thoughts. I don't want to dive too deeply in them, but I used to entertain a lot of those thoughts as like a child, man. Just a lot of people don't really understand, even in regards to just like suicide, man. I was fascinated with like death. Like I was legit just fascinated with it, to the point where I would spend like hours, man, when I just spend hours just thinking about it. So we glad you still here with us, man, because that, like I said, depression is is rough, man. And a lot of people make it seem like it's just so simple, as if the people that are battling depression don't know that, of course, you got to shift your mindset. Like, of course, they already know that. Of course, they know that they need to entertain more positive thoughts. They know that. The problem is it's hard to do that. It's not necessarily that simple. You think the depressed person wants to wake up on the wrong side of the bed? You think the depressed person wants to wake up angry, frustrated, or depressed or sad and things of that nature? No, not at all. Sometimes it's one of those things that it just happens. What's going on, O'Shane? Not impressed. One of the things, and I haven't talked about it yet because it's the topic of the video, but detachment. Just learning the art of detachment helped me kind of get over depression. And I mean, in simplistic terms, to basically describe detachment, it's real simple. It's basically, let's just say we are attached to people, family members, friends, and things of that nature. Basically, what detachment is telling you is like, you understand that these people are impermanent. You understand that at one point, these people would not exist. Whether you are here or not, at one point, you know that these people will not exist. And then when you understand that reality of the situation, it's like once the time comes, you are better prepared for it because you are not really attached to these people, to these places, to these things, because you understand that they are impermanent. So like when it's people time to go, then at the end of the day, you realize that that's a part of life. Nothing lasts forever type deal. So it's like whether this person is in my life or not, I'm going to still be me. I'm going to still be cool. I'm going to still do what I need to do. So that's something that just kind of helped me with depression, man. Just understanding things like that, understanding that not only are things impermanent, but like feelings, emotions are impermanent. So I started, instead of me suppressing those negative thoughts, like I embraced them. Like when they would arise, I would acknowledge them. I would embrace them. I would embrace those dark thoughts. I would embrace those negative thoughts, as crazy as it may sound, but that helps with depression. Just embracing those depressing thoughts, because again, they're not going to last forever. It's only when you like stop them and focus on them. That's when they tend to last a little bit longer. But when you just allow them to run its course, they come and go, just like the so-called positive thoughts. Because again, nothing is permanent, including those thoughts. So I had to just kind of understand that reality, man. Attachment had me believing that I had to be one way. I had to be overly positive. I had to be overly optimistic. Being depressed, being sad, being angry is bad. Like that's what attachment had me believing. When I learned detachment, I, for one, stopped placing labels on those type of feelings and emotions. And then I didn't really view myself in a so-called negative light when I had those so-called down days. I understood and I understand that those are a part of life. To have those down days, to have moments where you are upset, it's perfectly normal. It's abnormal to think that you don't supposed to have those type of days and those type of feelings. Yeah, most definitely. A lot of people think when you talk about detachment, they think that all of a sudden you are encouraging people to be like heartless. That's not what it is, man. I'm not saying that I have no love for my family members, but what I'm saying is at the end of the day, I know we all got to go. So like when it's that time, I'm not about to spend too much time in the grieving process of it all, because I understand that that's a part of life. They serve their purpose. Like I'm rarely one to shed tears like when a traumatic event happens in life, because I've really learned detachment, man. I mean, like I said, and that has helped me tremendously. Like I'm not afraid to sit around and just kind of be depressed, or you know what I'm saying, be unhappy for a moment. And then another thing too that also helped me was like finding out triggers. I'm real big on triggers, because even when it comes to depression, like everybody has a trigger. Like I can go back to being a trainer. Like when you eat certain type of foods, it's a trigger. It's something that made you, or something that encouraged you or inspired you to indulge in that wrong food. Same thing with depression. There are certain things that trigger your depression, and you got to figure those things out. It could be something small as like a certain type of song or something. because I know a lot of people, it's certain songs that are associated with family members that they have lost in the past. So every time that song comes on, they reminisce about the past time that they spent with that family member. So that's a trigger for your depression. So if that is something that triggers your depression, then you got to remove that trigger or minimize your exposure to that trigger. So that's another thing that helped me too, is just like analyzing what causes me to enter that dark state or enter that negative state. What triggers that? And the triggers for everyone is different. So you just got to figure out your triggers. I mean, it could be your job. I mean, the fact that you wake up and don't like what you do, that can trigger all type of negative thoughts. So like if that's something that's triggering your depression, triggering negative suicidal thoughts type deal, now you got to change your career field. You got to change your profession. Get another job. Get something that's less stressful. Get something that doesn't make you think about depression. So like that's a big key. I would say triggers and just learning that art of detachment, man. Understanding that nothing is permanent. The only thing permanent is change. So allow these things to run its course and stop placing a label on the feelings and emotions, and you will get far in life. You will get far in life. Like I said, man, even the feelings that we consider depressing may not necessarily be depressing. You may be getting that feeling or that emotion for a reason, and you can actually utilize that feeling or emotion for something productive and positive. We see that with artists all the time. Like DMX was talking about, write that pain, rap that pain. So you can be experiencing depressing or negative thoughts, but if you channel it in the right direction, then it's not actually a negative thought. It was utilized to fuel something creatively, something positive, something productive. So that really means it really wasn't a negative or depressing thought. So you just got to learn how to channel those thoughts, channel those feelings, channel those emotions. So a lot of people, that's another thing that helped too, just learning how to channel it. So it's like, instead of me really just kind of moping in my depression, like I'll write it down. I'll write the feeling down. Look at what I wrote, analyze it. Ask myself questions about what I wrote down. And that's another tactic too to help with it. Just ask yourself questions. As strange as it may seem, man, asking yourself questions can be crucial. When you start getting those feelings, man, why do I feel this way? You will be surprised at how hard the mind will work to supply you with answers to your own questions. Like I said, you got all the answers that you need. You got all the answers that you seek. You just got to ask yourself those particular questions. And your mind will do work to provide you with the answers that you need. So again, I say eliminate the labels. I say eliminate thinking that I feel bad or I'm angry or I'm frustrated. Just eliminate the labels and just allow yourself to feel. Just allow all those feelings, man, like Bruce Lee talked about formless form and things of that nature, man. Just allow all these feelings to come and go. Montel, yes, I have, man. I actually, according to definition, like I actually still struggle with it, especially since my grandmother passed, man. We had to bury her last October, so that's coming up. It's coming on 1 year of my grandmother passing. So, man, that right there just messed the game up for me. And I was experiencing stuff way before that. But when that happened, man, that just increased everything. So, yeah, I went through it, and I'm still actually striving to like tackle it, man. And some of the stuff that I'm telling you now in this video is some stuff that helped me. I don't know. I haven't witnessed anything more traumatizing than having to witness my mother bury her mother and then me having to carry the casket. Like little stuff like that. Like I don't wish that on anybody, man. But again, I was able to walk through that better than most of my other relatives, man, because like I said, man, I understand life. I got a view on life that allows me to kind of cope with things like that better than most people. Like I didn't shed a tear at the funeral. Like I said, it impacted me because again, going on 30, man. I've been knowing my grandmother for as long as I've been on this planet, man. She's one of the sweetest people you would ever meet. So having to do that was crazy. But again, I understand life, man. I understand life. So I used a lot of that. I used that particular situation as motivation. So when that happened, instead of me moping around, being depressed about it, I started making major moves. Like shortly after my grandmother passed, that's when I got the space for the gym. Because on top of that, like my grandmother passed, and then I lost my training job at Gold's Gym because of the COVID coronavirus. So all the stuff that was hitting me, man, I could have sat around and been in a major depression because it was a lot of crazy stuff happening. I could have hit major depression, but I'm like, nah, I looked at that. I looked at all of those things as signs, man. I looked at all of those things as signs. Like I analyzed what happened to my grandmother, man. Of course, it was health related, man. So it's in the field that I'm in. So of course, I felt like had I been a little bit more vocal and verbal in her life, man, like things could have been different or changed. So at one point, I almost started holding myself accountable for what happened to my grandmother simply because it was health related. And here I am in that space, and I couldn't save people that was closest to me. So that made me feel some type of way. So I was like, you know what? It's time for me to go a little bit harder with this health stuff, man, so people can know that this is what I do, so they could trust and value my opinion a little bit more. So we can't be going out like that. So instead of me sitting around looking at it, getting depressed about it, I use it as motivation. I use it as inspiration. So I channeled that energy in proper directions, man, because again, like I said, nothing is permanent. I didn't expect for her to be here forever. But we wasn't expecting it. Of course, you never really expecting anybody, any loved one to pass like that. So when it happens, man, it almost always catches you off guard. But it is what it is. Like I said, man, I use that as a learning experience, man. I understood what she went through before it all happened. So I know what I kind of not need to do. I'm trying to make sure my mother doesn't walk the path that, you know what I'm saying, she walked. So it's like, and again, I'm utilizing this stuff as a learning tool. Definitely a learning tool. So you got to learn how to channel that energy. Like that's crucial. You got to learn how to channel that energy, man. It's going to be hard at first, but you got to find something that you are comfortable doing. Like I said, for me, writing, I'm comfortable writing stuff down. I know O'Shane, you say you occupy yourself. That's another thing that people do, just kind of distract themselves a little bit, man. I mean, that could be useful for some people. But like I said, my thing is writing it down. Some people got to talk. Some people got to talk about it, like whatever it is you feel like you got to do to express yourself. Then I whatever it is that's comfortable to you, then I recommend or suggest that you do that. And you do it consistently. Like you can't do it every other day. You can't do it once a week. You can't do it once a month. Can't do it bi-weekly. Like you must do this every day. Whatever it is that's allowing you to express yourself, you must do this every day. You must do it every day. And a lot of people, just piggybacking off something I said previously, man, a lot of people think in order for you to like beat depression, man, you got to have this overly positive or overly optimistic worldview. Like I can tell you that I'm not that person. I'm not that person at all. Like if anything, embracing the dark side, embracing the negative a little bit more, actually helped me defeat it. Like again, not being afraid to like embrace those type of thoughts and that type of energy. Not being overly positive and overly optimistic. That didn't necessarily do it for me. So it goes back to having knowledge of self, man. Like we all are unique. So you got to embrace that uniqueness. You got to embrace what makes you you. In order for you to do that, you got to know what makes you you. You got to know yourself. As our ancestors said, you know thyself. Like that's one of the first steps. You got to know yourself. Once you know yourself, then you can embrace thyself and love thyself. But you can't embrace thyself and love thyself if you don't know thyself. Like that's, come on, you're trying to get to that 2 by skipping the 1. And that's not how the math works. You got to hit that 1 first. You got to start with that solid foundation. Yeah, martial arts is cool. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about martial arts in regards to like just helping with like depression, mental health. And that's basically how I view like working out. Like working out is my safe haven, man. Working out is where I release a lot of steam. And I'm going to eventually add martial arts into the equation. But you got 4 mental disorders, bro. Like what actually are they? What mental disorders are they? If you do not mind me asking. But I can't stress the importance of knowing ourselves enough, man. Because everybody, we all are different, man. We all are unique in our own special way, man. But you gotta know your uniqueness. You gotta know what makes you unique, man, and you can't be afraid to like embrace it. Yeah, Montel, capoeira is crucial. I learned to love that myself. Coloring and writing. Again, if those are your 3 things, man, just keep doing them. It's all about consistency. Once you figure out the things that kind of help you, it's all about consistency at that point. It's like getting into shape, man. You won't get into you won't reach that optimal level of health by working out once a week or every other week. You got to do it consistently. You got to maintain that health. Same goes with that mental health. You got to maintain that mental health. So you got to do all these things consistently, repeatedly. Repetition is king. Every day, you got to do them. Yeah, Takazulu, man. I got people in my fam that suffer from schizophrenia, man. I know all about it. Got a few bipolar cases as well. So again, like I said with labels, man, don't even trip off those labels though, bro. Because when you focus on those labels, then again, you start to feel like you got a problem. You start to feel like you are the problem. You associate something negative with those particular labels. Just eliminate those labels. Because every time you tell yourself you got these things, like you just gonna manifest those type of symptoms and whatnot. So every time you tell yourself you are bipolar, you are schizophrenic, you suffer from severe depression, you suffer from PTSD. Every time you tell yourself that, like you sending signals throughout the body that the body is like, oh, okay, we bipolar, then it's going to manifest certain conditions that agree with what you continue to tell it. So you just eliminate those labels. Don't even tell yourself that you have those disorders. Not at all. And not impressed. Like I said, I personally don't smoke. I don't smoke marijuana, but like I don't have a problem with people who smoke it. Like I said in the previous video, I do feel like a lot of people use it as a crutch, and rightfully so, because it just goes back to depression and the stress that the world puts on us. A lot of people lean on marijuana to like cope with the worldly stress, the stuff that they go through on a day-to-day basis. But my thing is, a lot of people won't admit that in regards to indulging in marijuana or overindulging in marijuana. But I don't have a problem with people who smoke it. I personally don't. But I don't think marijuana smokers are a problem or are the problem. Now, if you ask me about alcohol, I have a totally different answer. But marijuana is not causing many problems at all. But alcohol causes way too many problems. Yes, sir. Affirmations are powerful. Like, I stand by those affirmations. Like, you got to customize that affirmation. I mean, you might, and then, I read a few books and, they tell you to change up the affirmation every 2-3 months or so. Like, however you want to operate, man. But affirmations are powerful. Write it on that index card. Keep that index card with you. So whenever you're feeling down, just look at that affirmation on that index card, kind of reminding you of what your purpose is. Like whatever you are doing it for a reason. So the index card should have that reason on it. That's your why. And every time you're feeling down, just look at it. That'll shift your mood dramatically. And that's definitely another reason why I read, man. A lot of I personally like to read like a lot of philosophy books and things of that nature, man, to just get the mind wondering. So those are the type of books that have helped me. Studying Buddhism was very helpful. Like that was another thing, man, when I was kind of in my darkest state, like Buddhism, man, just studying a lot of that helped me tremendously. I mean, people don't understand how diverse I am in regards to reading everything. Like I Got Buddhist text, got a Quran, got a Bible, man, got some of everything, man. Of course, ancient Egyptian text. Like I got all of that, man. Just studying all of those things, man. Just metaphysics, all of that, just feeding the mind. All type of Jews, all type of food is crucial. It's crucial. And like I said, man, repetition is king. Repetition is definitely king. But like I said, in regards to just the title, man, you got to really in the beginning of all of this, know thyself, but then you got to also keep reiterating. Got to keep reiterating that simple point, man, that nothing is permanent. I really need for y'all to focus on that, man. If y'all don't take away anything from this, take away that message that nothing is permanent. That includes those negative feelings, those negative emotions. Yeah, Montel, man. I mean, rich, that's something that's monetary. So being rich, you can have all the money in the world, but that don't mean your mental health is intact. So I know a lot of people that got a ton of money suffering from severe depression. Because the crazy thing is that happens with that, when you get X amount of money, like when your financial status like dramatically increases, then it's hard for you to have authentic relationships with people. And that's something that we strive for as human beings. Like we strive for relationships. As they say, we are gregarious by nature. Like we strive for those relationships with other people naturally. So it's like what happens is when you reach a certain financial status, man, like you run into a lot of artificial individuals. Having an authentic friendship is something that's hard to come by when you reach a certain level financially. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of those people with money suffer. I mean, you got to question any and everybody that's trying to come into your circle because you feel like they have ulterior motives and things of that nature. I remember CeeLo said something, man, from Goody Mob long time ago. He said he kind of liked being Poe because at least he know what his friends are here for. And that's a true statement. That's a true statement. You know, when you don't have nothing and those people are in your inner circle, man, you at least know that it's real. You at least can appreciate the friendship when you have nothing. When you start to acquire a lot of things, man, and achieve a certain status, now you questioning any and everybody that's around you because you feel like people are out to get you, out to utilize you, and things of that nature. So CeeLo said it best, man. Like he kind of like being Poe because at least he know what his friends are here for. So that's crucial. That's crucial. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of people that acquire a certain amount of wealth have problems in regards to like depression and mental health, man, because when you study their lives from a relationship standpoint, man, they have a lot of rocky relationships, a lot of artificial relationships. They got to start mingling with other people with money. And you know how those people can get. So I done heard a lot of cases like that. And I've seen a lot of cases like that. And that's typically what it revolves around. A lot of people just out to use you. And then that goes back to like being attached. Like once you get this money, you attach to the idea of having real friends, having authentic friends. That's something that you strive for. So when it doesn't pan out in your favor, then that's when depression hits. Because you like, I got this money. Now you attach to the idea of having friends, having relationships, but you keep running into rocky relationships. And that's when everything goes down south for you because of your idea, like the life that you paint for yourself, what you are attached to, what you are striving towards. Yes, sir, Takazulu, man, you got to question everything, rightfully so. But then again, it goes back to attachment. The only reason that we questioning them in the first place because we attach to this idea of how they should act. So the only reason why we begin to question that inner circle, the family and friends, is because we are attached to this idea that we have in regards to how they supposed to act towards us. We think that, oh man, my own family members wouldn't do me like that. I, for the life of me, don't understand why people want to entertain that idea. There's really no difference between your family members and somebody that you don't know. They all susceptible. They are all prone to being able to do you dirty. 9 times out of 10, the family member, the friend is the one that's going to do you the worst. If anything, the stranger gonna give you the praise, man. The stranger gonna do all that positive stuff for you. They're gonna look out. It's gonna be the family member, the friend that stabbed you in the back. You got to think about it. Backstabber, getting stabbed in the back. How can an outsider, somebody that you don't know, stab you in the back? You can only get stabbed in the back by family and friends. Because when it's somebody on the outside, when it's a stranger, like you already looking at them sideways from the rip. So they don't even have the ability to stab you in the back. Backstabber, being stabbed in the back, originated from family and friends doing you dirty. And that's commonly what happens. Even when we can even dive deeper into like molestation. Most of the time, man, these kids being molested by family members, not outsiders. Most of the time, that stuff is going on in-house. So again, that's another thing that helped me. You got to detach yourself from this word family. Just because somebody is labeled cousin, auntie, mother, father, brother, sister, don't mean that they're going to treat you as such. Just because they have this family label doesn't mean that they are going to treat you better than someone on the outside, better than a stranger. That's not how that works, because we didn't choose our family. We was born into this. You didn't choose your family. You can't force these people to be a certain type of way simply because that's your cousin, that's your aunt, uncle. I don't get along with everybody in my family, and I don't have to. Like, I don't have to. So you gotta understand that. You gotta understand that, man. It sounds harsh, but it is what it is. Like I said, you didn't choose your family, man. You was born into it. You was born into it. Yep. That being molested and raped by family, man, that's crazy. And that's something that we tend to sweep under the rug and not talk about a lot. But this is something that was happening way back when, and it's continuing to happen to this day. And it just, I feel like it gets ignored. It doesn't get the attention that it deserves. And I'm telling you, man, like I said, family, and one of the main reasons why, like I said, why family even, why it's even like you even feel it that hard is simply because the idea we have that's attached to family. Oh yeah, most definitely, Dynasty. Like I mean, of course, like I said, by nature, like we that type of people. We strive for relationships. But I'm at a point in my life where like it's like if it happens, it's cool. If it don't, I'm still cool. Like it is what it is. Like at this point, it's like that for me. And that's basically detachment. Like if I can meet a group of brothers and we can like build consistently, cool. If not, cool again. Because I'm gonna continue to be me. I'm gonna continue to do what I gotta do. But we all gonna strive for that. We gonna all wish and hope for that. But it's not something that's gonna break me if it doesn't happen. Because I've seen I've seen and heard just a lot of wicked stuff, man, that just goes on. Not only with just family members and things like that, man, but even I'm gonna dive a little bit deeper, man, and then I'm gonna just focus on YouTube and things like that, man. I didn't watch people on YouTube, man, and steal a lot of trust in certain individuals on YouTube just for them to get scammed. And that stuff is heartbreaking, man. If you looking up to somebody, man, and this person has been helping you, man, just get through life via videos, via just whatever, via books, via whatever the case may be, man, and you give up everything that you got Give up everything that you got to kind of like invest in that particular person, man, and they let you down, man. That's also heartbreaking for some people. Because again, you got to understand that one of the reasons why a lot of people would even gravitate towards somebody on that level is because they may be going through something. They may need that guidance. They may need that role model in their life. So then when that person lets them down, that's crazy. And I've been seeing a lot of that going on. I've been seeing a lot of that going on, man. It's like people find that escape, man. It's somebody that's been helping them through the situation. It's almost like, like a mentor type deal, man. And then after years of being mentored by this person, you find out that this mentor is actually a trash individual. Yeah, Taka Zulu, I would say I'm not gonna say you detaching in the wrong way, because again, man, it's all relative to the individual in regards to the way that you detach. I'm not gonna say the way that I detach is the way that everybody should detach. But if you're feeling cold and emotionless, then I would say you probably might want to adjust the way that you are detaching. Because again, like I said, the way I detach, it doesn't really have anything to do with like being heartless, being emotionless. Like I said, I had to experience the tragic death of my grandmother. It wasn't that I was emotionless and didn't like feel any type of way about it happen. It was just that I understood what happened. It was like, all right, she lived her life. It was stress filled. She had these type of health ailments, and this is what happened. This is what it resulted in. And again, nothing is permanent. It was like, I feel bad that it happened, but what can I learn from her situation? So I was able to look at it like that. So to me, that's not cold, that's not emotionless. But to the next person, that could be cold and emotionless. Somebody would think that I'm probably supposed to cry about it and all that type of stuff. And to me, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna sit around like crying when that particular situation happened wasn't productive to me. Yeah, so I'm able to just kind of use my grandmother's inspiration. So anytime that she pops up in my mind, like it's time for me to get creative and do something. So I use it as fuel, man. So every other time she enters my mind, man, like it's like I'm gonna jot something down, I'm gonna write something, man. Just use it as an inspiration. So that's just kind of how I deal with the situation. Yeah, Zuko, most definitely. But it's like at the same time, you can't waste too much time on people as well, because time is of the essence. And time waits for no one, man. So we can't waste time. Like, my time is valuable, so I can't waste it. Like, if you start showing me your true colors off the rip, I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not about to, like, if you do me once wrong and I allow you back in my life and you do me wrong again, that's my fault. So it's like when you do me wrong, when you show your true colors that first time, like, I'm gonna make a critical decision. I'm gonna make a business decision that instant. Yeah, most definitely. I don't put most definitely. And another thing in regards to putting trust in people, I don't have expectations for how people should be. I eliminated expectations for people because, again, that's attachment. The moment I expect an individual to be a certain type of way, the moment I expect an individual to respond a certain type of way, and they don't respond that way, or they don't act in accordance to the way that I expected, I'm gonna have a problem. So it's like I eliminated expectations. I don't expect people to do anything for me. I don't expect people to think a certain type of way. I just don't expect it. So that way, nobody can let me down because I didn't have any expectations to begin with. So we starting from that clean slate. Like Bruce Lee said, I'm empty in the cup. I don't have any expectations for you to begin with. So how can the person let me down when I have no expectations for you? So that goes hand in hand with putting trust in people. Not only do I not put the trust in people, and again, that may sound cold, that may sound emotionless, but it's not. Because again, we can't control how other people act and respond. Can't control that. It's like I'm gonna give an example, man. It's like throwing a surprise birthday party for someone that you know doesn't like surprise birthday parties, and then you get mad that they are not surprised, they are not excited at the fact that you threw them the surprise birthday party. Well, you knew that the individual didn't like the surprise parties. You can't control the way that they respond to that particular situation. Yeah, what you did, you had good intentions, but you got to consider that other person, man. You can't control how they're gonna respond. So a lot of times people don't understand that, man. A lot of times people start to feel some type of way about how people respond to them and how people react to things that they do. It's like, man, you can't control that. Like, you can't control that at all, man. Like, just because you had good intentions, you had a pure heart, and you presented something to somebody and they responded nasty to you, and now you are upset because you was like, man, I didn't respond nasty to them. I mean, hey, just because you responded in a positive manner doesn't mean you're gonna get that back. That's just the nature of life, man. You don't know what other people are going through. You don't know what other people are battling with, man. So it's like, at the end of the day, man, you just can't control that. You can't control how people respond and react to how you interact with them and what you do for them. Yeah, Ronnie Ron, corporate America has a lot of expectations. Tell me about it. Because I went through high school and them telling me, making me look like a bad guy because my hair was too long. So I know all about expectations that come with being corporate. That's why I got up out of it. Yeah, D men's, and I wouldn't even say expectations for yourself, man. I mean, just view yourself in the best light possible, and everything will unfold according to that, man. Like, again, it ain't even like I got a totally untraditional, unconventional, unorthodox way of viewing the world. So like, I don't really have any expectations for myself. I have a certain way that I view myself, and everything unfolds according to that view that I have of myself, that self-image, that self-perception. Everything flows according to that. And again, that even happens on a day-to-day basis. That's why I say, duality. Like, some days I'm extra, as you would call, positive. I'm extra positive, extra good. So on those days, more positive things will happen to me. I get better signs, like, and I'll be able to be more creative and things of that nature. Well, the next day, maybe one of those down days, and everything's gonna flow according to that type of energy. So I operate like that. Kind of go with the flow type deal, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, I got this overall self-perception, this overall image that I have of myself, and everything pretty much flows according to that. But again, like I said, man, I got a real unconventional way of viewing kind of like the world, man. So a lot of people, like, I don't plan a lot of things, man. Again, like, I go with the flow, man. I go, like I said, I got this image in my mind, man, and I just got this way that as we call it, like, living mathematics and stuff like that, man. I just live it out. I just live out my reality, and everything flows according to how I live, who I am, who I choose to be. Everything flows according to that. As they say, be the change that you want to see. So it's like, I got a certain way that I feel like I need to be in order to manifest certain things. So I just live it out. But I can dive into the mathematics. I know somebody asked me to do a video about that. I can dive into that in the future, so y'all can see what I mean by being living mathematics and things of that nature. That's pretty much how I operate. Yep, everything flow. Yeah, Donna, see, communication is key, and I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that was my weakest point for the longest. Like, just communication. I was shut down. Isolate myself. Like, I'm terrible at just like communicating. Like, once you kind of show me your true colors, man, it's like I'm shutting down. I'm not dealing with you. So I know all about just communication and the problems that it can cause when you miscommunicate and all that type of stuff. Yes, sir. When it comes to the 5%ers, man, the nation of God's and earth, like a lot of stuff online is misinformation. The best way to get the information about us, man, is actually by building with us in person. So that's why it's best to just get it from us and not online. It's a few books written by some brothers that I would recommend if you want to learn more about it. But the best way to get knowledge about us, man, is to actually hear us build about it, build about our culture. But coming across that knowledge, which we call knowledge itself, coming across that knowledge about 10 years ago helped me tremendously, man. Like I said, living out the mathematics and things of that nature, living out our lessons and stuff like that, man, that helped me tremendously. Yes, sir. Expect nothing from people. Like I said, man, that's my major key. No expectations. Yeah, Taka Zulu for the long, like you touching on where a lot of my depression early on really stemmed from. I always felt like I was not being listened to, and I always felt like I was misunderstood, hence the black sheep. So that resulted in a lot of depression, man, because you always want to be understood and listened to by the people that matter the most. Family members, loved ones. If you don't get anybody else's attention, you will be fine as long as you get the attention from those loved ones. The moment you feel like you are being misunderstood by family members or not listened to by family members, that can break you down. That can break you down. That's why it's always crucial, man, for you. Like if you got kids and things of that nature, man, to listen to those kids, strive to understand those kids, because the moment you don't, you may be setting that child up for like severe depression down the road. And I know for the longest, like that's what I battled with. I mean, I just felt like people wasn't striving to understand me. I had this different view of the world, man. I had these different thoughts, and I just felt like people wasn't really striving to understand why I was thinking the way that I was thinking. Instead, they were just like attacking it or looking at it like a phase. And I really didn't appreciate that, man. So it would cause me to shut down. Yeah, D-Mans, and it gets to the point where I don't even strive to fit in anymore, man. Like it is what it is. As people talk about being a loner, being an introvert, like I embrace that, man. I know at the end of the day, when it comes to in person, like physically, like I'm not about to have a large circle of people, rightfully so. I'd rather have 2 or 3 like real, true, authentic friends than like 100 fake artificial friends. Like I don't want to roll with a bunch of people just for the sake of saying that I know a bunch of people. Like, and most of them are artificial. Like I'm good. I'm good. I'd rather have 2 or 3 authentic friends than like 100 fake and artificial associates. Just for the sake of saying that I know a large amount of people. Like I'm good on that. I don't need that in my life. I don't need to be cool with a lot of people. Like I don't need to fit in any circle. I create my own circle. So like that is what it is. Like I'm not striving to fit in anybody's circle. I'm not striving to fit inside of anybody's box. Construct my own box, and I sit in that box by myself if I have to. Yeah, Thunder Scorpion. I used to go hard with debating folks, man. Like I used to go hard. That wasn't good for my mental health right there, man. I used to debate all day, every day, like on Facebook. If you say anything that I didn't agree with, we debating. We gonna go back and forth all day. I did not give up. I wasn't gonna stop commenting and responding until you stop. So I used to go hard with it, especially when I first got a bunch of knowledge, man. When I first was getting that knowledge, I was in that angry phase, man. I was just angry with the world. So anybody that I felt like was gravitating towards the stuff that I just learned the truth about, I was like, man, y'all sleep. And here's why. And you need to wake up, and you need to, like I used to be on it. Like I used to go hard, man. I used to go hard on a lot of things, man, from just like religion to like the way you eating. Well, I used to go hard, man. Like if I found out you was still eating pork, man, I used to get upset, like for real. They used to make me mad. Like, man, come on, I'm giving you all this information in regards to how bad pork is, and you still choosing to eat this pork. What's wrong with you? Do you not value your life type deal? Like I used to go in. I used to go completely in. But I was like, nah, I'm good. You can give people this information, whether or not they apply this information to their life, that's on them. It's just like giving that money to the homeless person, man. You giving that money to the homeless person out the kindness of your heart. What they choose to do with that money is on them. So I don't, if I give you that $5, it's because it's out the kindness of my heart. I'm not about to drive away feeling like, oh man, they scammed me. They finna take that $5 and do that. Like at that point, when I give up that $5, man, I did it because I wanted to give you that $5. I don't care what you do with it. That's on you. I'm not about to drive home wondering if I got scammed or not. If I feel good about it, I'm gonna give you that money. If I don't feel good about it, not doing it. But when I give you that money, like at that point, it's out of my hands what you do with it. So me stressing myself out over like, oh, they probably gonna take this and buy drugs with it. Beside the point, I'm good. Like I'm not gonna waste time stressing about that. Yeah, the way you eat definitely can have has a lot to do with depression and things of that nature, man. I'm gonna definitely do something. I'm gonna definitely do a video on that, like certain foods that you can eat to improve the mental health. Like I said in previous videos, blueberries are a good food for that. And Thunder Scorpion, you was hardcore with it. You was harsh. All right, Zuko, yeah, with that, cause you gonna have me make a whole that's a whole new video. But yeah, I definitely know we was here before 1492 though. To answer that in short, most definitely. I got a couple books on that particular subject. Again, that's a whole new video. I might dive into that, but I got a few books that touch on that. A lot of books actually. Like I said, when I was first coming into knowledge of self, man, that's all I was reading. So I got a lot of books that talk about that. Yes, sir. Definitely can't make them drink. Yeah, D-Mans, get that smoothie in. Yeah, just do that stuff out the kindness of your heart. Like I said, whatever they choose to do with it, whether it's money, whether it's information, is on them. You gave them the ammunition, man. You gave them what you could. So at that point, I'm not stressing with it, man. Like I said, it even goes back to family members and eating healthy because that's something that I push. I can't force my family members to adopt the way that I eat. I can't force them to eat a certain type of way. I can introduce the information and a lifestyle to them. Then it's up to them to make the decision, but I can't force them to do anything. So why would I waste my time getting angry when they choose not to eat a certain type of way? Like I'm not going to do that. I no longer do that. I no longer let that consume me and bother me. It is what it is, man. They know exactly where I stand when it comes to a lot of stuff. They know the information that I presented to them. So if they choose not to act on it, it's on them. Again, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. That's what they say. Oh, Zuko, most definitely. I'm gonna definitely pass that knowledge, man. When I gather, I'm gonna go into my collection of books. Like I said, in one of these next videos that I do, I definitely throw them out there. You know, I'm good for throwing out them sources. So I definitely got you on that. Oh, you already know, Thunder Scorpion. Just striving to do my duty. Yep. Yep. Once you give them the money, it's theirs. Once you give them the information, it's theirs. Like they know it. They know what you had said a week ago, a month ago about the food that they eating. They know what you said. They didn't forget. Like they didn't forget it all. So with that being said, man, it's been a nice build once again, man. I think going 4 days a week is crucial, man. I feel like it's working. I feel like we getting a lot of things off our chest, man. Going live 4 days a week. So I'm gonna stick to the script, man, because that's my new script. Trying to go live 4 days a week. So I think I'm gonna do it. I feel like it's working. I'm gonna go live again Sunday. And of course, we're gonna touch on something that's deep. We're gonna touch on a topic that a lot of people are not talking about, because that's what we do. But I'm liking this 4 days a week, man. I'm liking interacting with y'all that many times a week, man. It's crucial. It's not only helping out me, but I feel like it's helping out some of y'all. So I'm gonna keep that up. Like as we tend to say, my word is my bond. So I'm gonna make sure I keep up that promise. I'm gonna keep my word. Again, as my lesson say, I will give my life before my word shall fail type deal. So I'm gonna make sure I stick to the script. I'm gonna stick to the script. So again, like I said, I got people to train, man. So I gotta construct these daily workouts, man. So you all enjoy the rest of this beautiful Thursday. Hopefully y'all stay peaceful, stay healthy, stay out of the way. Build on the positive, destroy the negatives. I'm out, y'all. Peace.